Hello, we're here. We're on the final part, the third part. We're going to texture. There's a couple of little modelling things I just need to fix, but most of this is going to be about texturing Mr. SpongeBob SquarePants. I'd like to start by realising the teeth aren't wide enough, but because I've rotated them, I'm going to press comma and then do this locally. So SX. Yeah. They just needed to be a bit fatter and a bit closer together. I've got them backwards. Oh yeah, it's on the left hand side. Okay. And I think the tongue SX could also be a bit fatter. Okay, so let's start by just fixing this so that it looks better when we're looking at it. So start by selecting this loop, and this is part of the tie. Oh, I see what's happening here. We've got extra faces in the middle, which you should have too, so just select these from within the model and press X faces. Okay, right, back to it. So select this loop and this loop. No, this loop, that's all the white. And we don't want to select the tie because that's going to be different. We do want to select these because these are all the white shirt. And then just double check we've got all of them. We can fix that, don't worry about it. Unless you're looking at SpongeBob from the back, you're not seeing it. And I should have already, yes, so with this material is going to be the trousers, so we're adding a new material. Just click new. You call it a name if you want. I never name stuff, but that's white. So we need to assign it. So in your edit mode, with those selected and a new material, click assign. Okay, so there's the shirt. And let's just make a quick one for the tie. So we want to select all these, all these, all these, all you lot, you lot, you, oh hello, you. And yes, and then add a new material, new, make it red, give it a name if you want, and assign. I'd like to take the IOR down because it's more cartoony. And finally for here, we just want to select these two faces and add a new material and just make it black. I'm sure you've already made one that's black. If you'd have named it, you'd known. And assign. And there's his little paints. Okay, socks. This one's very simple. In edit mode, I'm going to Control R, put a loop cut for the top of his socks about there. I'm going to put a loop cut for the red line, Control B that, and a loop cut for the red line, Control B that. And then we've got skin as a base, so all we need to do is select all of these, all of them, and them. Make if you remember what the white material was you just made or you named it, use that. But I'm just gonna, I can just pick one. There we go. It's just plain white, isn't it? Yep. Okay. And assign. And then one of these is red. So new material. I'm just gonna select that red one. Looks quite right. That's fine. And assign. And we need another material for this band, which will be the blue. And I think I have a blue in there. Have I got a blue in there? No. Oh, yeah, it's just quicker. I'm just going to make a new material and make it blue. And assign. So we should have a tidy pair of socks on now, like. And this is happening because there's not enough subdivisions between. It's stretching. So Control R and drag that up. And the same at the top. Control R and drag that down. And there's Mr. SquarePants in his socks. Okay. Inside the math. So we want to turn it. It's easier to do this when your subdiv isn't on. Let me just collapse that. So I'm going to select all these faces, not edges. And probably this whole loop. and I shall make a new material. I fill my projects with so many duplicate materials, and we want a nice dark reddy pink and a sign. Now we may have an issue after we put the subdiv back on, and we have okay, so I've missed some and we need more loop cut. Okay, so turn my subdiv off and let me just check where I went wrong. Let me turn the bevel off as well, that's confusing me. Okay, I got oh, hello. I need you guys to also be part of that group, and then click assign to the correct one. I think it's an issue with the smoothing, so I'm going to turn the bevel and the subdiv back on and try and locate. I think the first problem is going to be here. So I'm just going to, okay. Is the next one here? Looks like it. Why is it doing that? I think it's the bevel that's messing it up. It is. It's the bevel. Okay. The bevel's going to have to remain off. To be honest, it doesn't look like we really need it anyway. Okay. So you can delete the bevel. I am going to put a loop cut at the top because that's too rounded. And I'm going to turn that up to 4. Okay. Alright, this is supposed to be about modelling. Alright, the eyes. So we're going to need to what we want. Select all those faces and make them a pupil. So material. I don't know why I'm not on the right one. There we go. Let's just add a material to start. We'll just use that white one material, and then add another one, new black, and then no roughness really, and then select this outer rim, new material. Did I assign that? I don't think I did. Assign to the pupil. All right, new material, nice blue, and assign to the blue. Okay, let's have a look. All right, if we put a subdiv on 2, we get smooth eyes, guys. Okay. All right. Am I allowed to still put a bevel on this? When you edit a shape, it starts to muck around, even though you applied all your scales. Oh, there is a little bevel. That's nice. That's nice. Okay. So now it's painting the spots on his face. But before we do that, I would just like to mess with this geometry a bit. It needs to be a bit more jiggity jaggedy. So I'm going to loop cut 3 times there. I'm going to loop cut once there. And Alt Z, I'm going to take these and these and these and these and just SX. Press full stop, bounding box center, SX. And I'm going to take these. That could be an issue. Why have I got... I've got an extra loop here. So X, dissolve edges. So now I want to select these, and these, and just GZ a bit. Let's have a look. Yeah, there we go. His face seems to fit it. I think these are too big, so I'm going to scale them down and then bring them back together, which means we need to move. Oh, hello. Need to move these to there. Yeah, that's better. A little bit bigger. Yeah. Okay. So For the spongy type texture, we just need to edit the skin, and we need a noise texture. Shift A, texture, noise. You need a vector bump, and you need a color ramp, color converter, color ramp. Not sure, don't think you need coordinates. Right, so drop that in there, and let's have a look. So we want to bring the scale up quite high to that. That'll do. And then that's going to go into bump, into the height, sorry, and normal into normal. And let's just Control Shift click that. And now let's get this so we can see it. Distance 1, strength 0.1, strength 0.06. Just a bit subtle, like that. And we need to add, let me just fix that. I need more subdivs on that. I just spotted it and it's bugging me. Thank you. Actually, this one, might do that separately. Okay, and for this, we want some subsurface scattering. So I'm going to random walk, whack it up to 1, and put the distance on 0.2 so we can really see it. And then you're just picking, I'm not going to lie, I don't get these numbers. What I tend to do is play with them until I get something I'm happy with. The top one does a lot, and the second one seems to change it to like a yellowy color. That looks about right. I think the bump can be a bit harsher now that we've got subsurface on. So bump strength 0.1. Even further, 0.2. Right, that's our spongy material. What we need to do is, it's on the nose, but it's because we've not done it with UV anything. Just click the nose, click new, and then all we need to do is just look at the scale because it's way too big. So we want to bring that to match about roughly the scale of the rest of it. I'll do it. Control Shift click. There you go. So that matches. It could be the same for the arms. So let's select the arms, select this material, and then link them or find the material. And that, yeah, that looks good. And I think that should be the same. So legs, actually, no, we need to do it differently. So that's skin dot 001. So on the legs, the skin needs to be skin dot 001. Okay. Right, so let's paint the holes in, and then I think we're done. We've got, his little sheiks. Let me do that now before I forget. Very simple. Shift A, mesh, sphere, scale it right down, drop it in the corner, bit big, that'll do. Go into right view, X-ray mode, delete half of this sphere for, oh, bear with me, I'll be back. Excuse the interruption there. So yeah, we've deleted half of this, but there's a couple of vertices left I do not want there. Those ones, goodbye. Alt Z, and just drop that into his little face. And with, let's rotate this so that, because we're going to pull up this bit here. So select probably this vertex in the middle, vertex, sorry. Put your proportional on, and we're going to drag that upwards and inwards like that. And then I'm just going to drag it further into the mouth. And I think I'm going to bring that up to hide it like this. All right. And then let's give that skin maybe skin 01. I don't know. I'll find out skin. Depends how the bubbly. I think that needs a new one, and that still needs to come down further. So that's better. Okay. As I say, the subsurface means it interacts with the material it's sitting on. And let's shift select something with a mirror and then copy to selected. And now we've got his silly little cheeks. Could do with a bit being a bit bigger, so I'm just going to scale that up a bit and maybe bring it down a bit. That looks weird. There. Yeah. Okay. The spots. Little bit of texture painting. Very simple. We need to unwrap Mr. Spongebob. I think let's try a way. So I'm just going to solo Mr. Spongebob, and I'm going to turn off his subdiv. What I want is to create a scene. So I'm going to select not the front. I'm going to select this one at the back, this one there, and this one there. And I'm going to select that line and that line, and then mark scene. And then press A, U, and that's, how did that look actually? Let's have a look. How's that unwrapped? Yep, that'll do. Okay. Actually, we can't texture paint in thingy mode. So now we're going to paint some bubbles, but we already have a material. We're going to paint over the top of it. So if you go over to, let's put the subdiv on, over to texture paint, which is up here, texture paint. And up here, you'll get texture slots, and you want to click on the plus, base color. I'm just going to go 2K 2048, and you want it on white because we're going to multiply this over what we've already got. Add. Okay. And we're just going to, I've already got a green, pick yourself a green and just drop some spots on it of various sizes by pressing F. And we're also going to do something funky with the bump. Some of these I want to make them slightly erratic shapes because they're not all perfect cylinders. I'm Mr. Spongebob. Yeah, just dot some cheese holes, you know. I'm going to speed this up. You get it. Doink. Okay. So now what we're going to do is click on this where we put the material slots, save all images. Very important. All right. And this is the texture coordinate. This is the texture, the image texture that image data is contained. And what we want to do is we need to texture coordinates, which will be Shift A, input texture coordinates. Yeah, and put UV. Oh, wait. Oh, we're good. It's taken the UV, thank God for that. So now we need to multiply this over the yellow. So if you add a color, mix color, we want to drop our yellow into probably the top and then drop this into the bottom, put that on multiply so it's going to ignore the white, and then plot that back in there. And then let's have a look. And there are some cheese spot holes. And what we're going to, there's one last thing we're going to do, which is we don't want this cheesy texture over these holes. They're holes. There's not supposed to be anything there. So we need to remove that from the bump. To do that, we want to back to our texture slots, click the plus. Let's do bump. Put that on white because we're going to multiply again. 2048, that's fine. Add. And this is our bump node over here. And what I want to do is first check it's working, yes. Change that to black because everything is white, so there will be a difference. And the best way I found to do this is to head over to that one, material preview, and you won't see the updates, but if you just round off the circles, I'm not going to do all of them. I'm going to do the ones on the front, and then I'm going to, well, I probably don't need to do the ones on the right and the left and the top, because you just apply this, the same technique to all of it. So literally just rounding off, because once we're done marking out where these holes are, we're going to go back to, I think I messed that up. We're going to go back to viewport, whatever that one, and viewport edit. I still, after like 5 years, don't remember the names. Okay, let's go back to that. And now we just fill in these holes, because we know that's where the holes are. You're alright, you're alright. Doesn't look very holy. Probably wasn't necessary to do that one. Never mind. Okay. So now what we want to do is, we don't need that bump node. We want to multiply this over our noise. So we want another mixed color. You know where that is now. Drop that in the top. Drop that in the bottom. Multiply all the way up. Let me just double check. Oh yeah. Wait. Oh yeah, that'll help. Okay, so that's mixed both bumps. What I think we're going to have to do is change the shade of this. But let's plug that into bump instead, into heights. Control Shift click that. And then you'll see there's no bump on the holes. And that's actually worked out. But what I would like is much stronger hole bump. But obviously if we increase the bump, we're increasing the bump of this. And I like it as it is. But we can fix that. So let's put the strength up to 1. And then, because this is so strong now, we just want to increase the brightness until we get it back to where we wanted, which is really close to the top. I messed that up. So what's that? 0.095, 0.15. Let's try 0.2. Wait a minute. I'm changing the position, not the shade. Here, look. So that, I need the shade. There. Okay, there we go. So now there's no bump on the cheese holes. And you would go around doing that with all of them. I'm not going to do that because it adds time and you get it. Last thing I think I can show you is what I did with the eyeballs. Because if you see in this Spongebob, we've got this funky little gradient. So let's put that in. Right, so we need to select the eye and then we need to select the material. I did this in a kind of MacGyver type way. It's probably unconventional, but I tried it with a gradient. It didn't work out. So I did it another way. So Shift A, texture, wave texture, believe it or not. Change that to bands to rings. Add yourself a color ramp. And just Control Shift click that. And now we need a texture coordinate, which is an input, as you know. And you need Shift A vector mapping, because we're going to need to move the position of this so that we get, hopefully get a circle around the eye. As you say, this is, as I say, this is not, probably is not the conventional way of doing it. I just want that to move down. How did I do this earlier? There. Yes, yes. That turns out to be those settings. Now, if I increase the black a bit, it's not quite as centered as it was the last time, but I'm terrified about moving any of these. Let's try minus 0.35. Yes, minus 0.45. Oh yeah, minus 0.5. There we go. That is centered nicely. And I'm going to add one more pip here because I want that to be a bit of a stronger gradient. Okay. Now, if we add a mixed color and drop that into the factor in, I think it's B, we'll have that. And then we'll make like a nice purpley type affair. Probably too much. We'll find out. Drop that in there. Control Shift click that. Purple's probably not the right colour. There we go. Bluey purple. And there we have a funky little gradient. I think that Spongebob built. Yeah. I don't think there's anything else to do. Actually, yeah, there is. I'm just going to bring these into the body more. GZ. Oh, am I on local? Yep. Global. GZ. And S. Oh, no, I just want to edit the width of the body. SY. And S. Wait. SX. Yeah. No, too much. SX. Maybe if I just scale him on the Y and a bit on the X. And a bit on the Y. His eyebrows have gone, ain't they? His eyebrows have disappeared. I need them back. GY. And then, no, I don't. There we go. Yes. Also, our new material for the iris. Just bring the roughness down as well, so it's nice and shiny too. I believe we are done. Arms might be a bit big. Both of them might be a bit big. Now, I believe we are done. Sounds too small now. Whatever, you get the idea. That's it. Spongebob built, textured, jubbly. I don't think I'm missing anything. No, we're all good. I hope that was fun. I love this guy. Yeah, I hope you ended up with this too. Sweet, that was cool. I'll see you in the next one. Farewell.